Hi, Dave here from Informed American. Welcome to the opinion section of InformedAmerican.com, our Facebook page. Just a sort of the space where we can sort of let things loose and give our opinions on things. And today I've got 5 ways that New York has failed the country in its fight against COVID-19, the coronavirus, SARS-CoV-2, whatever you want to call it. Look, New York, you can call New York the epicenter of this pandemic. Take a look at this stat. The 44 counties within 100 miles of New York City have half of all the United States COVID-19 deaths. And maybe that could be why it seems like there's such a disconnect. We're hearing from people in other parts of the country who are like, what are you guys talking about? It's not affecting me quite in the way it's affecting you. And when you get all these deaths, all these infections concentrated in one area versus someone out in, say, I don't know, South Dakota or something where it's basically minimal, that's where you get this disconnect. So anyway, let's start with number 1. Nursing homes. Now, you may have heard this. Governor Cuomo mandated that all COVID-19 patients released from hospitals, that nursing homes had to take them back in. The result of this, 5,000 dead in New York nursing homes. 5,000, including 1,700, this number that just came out a couple of days ago that was undisclosed. So the governor says, look, if someone has COVID, they come from a hospital, the nursing home has to take them. And of course, two predictable results. They bring them to the nursing home, get everybody else sick. And now your mother, your grandmother, your sister, your aunt could have basically, if they were in a New York nursing home, got put at risk and possibly could have died. All that number up to 5,000 because of New York Governor Cuomo mandating that nursing homes take in these patients. Unbelievable. Number 2, subways. I mean, could you think of a better way to make this disease spread from person to person? You're packed in like sardines in these dirty cars underground, and it just, they never shut them down until basically yesterday was the first time they shut down overnight service. Apparently for the first time in 115-year existence, shutting down these subways so they can do a deep clean. Well, that's a good idea, but not in May. We are months into this pandemic, and you decide that now's the time to clean these things up. An absolute failure. They should have been doing this regularly and a long time ago instead of letting this vector of spreading disease. Crazy. What they did with these subways. Number 3. Officials fighting anyone who says that people from New York City were spreading the disease around the country. I'm sure you heard this. And look, maybe the story that came out of Rhode Island when they were saying, look, if New Yorkers come over, we're going to check them, going to make sure they stay in 14-day quarantine. You may have heard the New York Governor Cuomo's response. He said he was going to sue the state of Rhode Island if they did this. And then today, a New York Times headline, travel from New York City, seeded wave of U.S. outbreaks. The coronavirus outbreak in New York City became the primary source of infections around the United States, researchers have found. And, the reaction here, if anyone, we heard this, we knew it, we knew that COVID was going crazy wild in New York City, and New Yorkers were fleeing and bringing it to South Florida. Now, why is the only real bad place in Florida for the coronavirus is South Florida? It's a frequent place for New Yorkers to travel. That's where they go. That's where they live. That's where they winter there and summer at home. And then here we go. There was a response from the New York City Health Commissioner who responded that people should quarantine if they've been in New York City. No, I wouldn't follow that. So any little bit of fighting, this is the way they failed. They didn't tell people don't travel, and if you do travel, quarantine yourself. No big deal. Just give it a pass. Meanwhile, the virus is spreading out of this epicenter of New York City all around the country. Unbelievable. Number 4. Failure of leadership to advise the public of the danger of COVID-19. I've got a tweet here from February from another health commissioner. As we gear up to celebrate the hashtag Lunar Year in NYC, I want to assure New Yorkers that there's no reason for anyone to change holiday plans, avoid the subway, or certain parts of the city because of hashtag coronavirus. Here's a tweet from the mayor in March. Since I'm encouraging New Yorkers to go on with your lives and get out of town or get on the town, Despite coronavirus, I thought I'd offer some suggestions, and here he suggests 2 movies for them to go see. Really nice if you built de Blasio, where as the coronavirus is spreading around the city, people are getting infected, and people will end up dying. You're telling them to go out in the town to check out your movie recommendations. Well done. And then number 5, guys, a story that you may have seen on Informed America. It's here just below on our Facebook page. An absolute lack of gratitude for those who came to help out New York City. Now, they had a massive shortage of healthcare workers. They put out a call for anyone to come out and help because their health system was completely overwhelmed. And what's the thank you? What's the thank you for people who picked up and left, risked their lives to go save other lives, to go help out New York City? They're going to get a tax bill for their earnings for earning out of town. They're going to get a tax bill on those earnings. Unbelievable. The governor says, look, we've got a shortfall. We've got a budget shortfall, so I can't maybe make exceptions to all these health workers who came in. We gotta fill in that budget hole. Now, this is a guy who was lecturing the president and telling everyone that, lives are far more important than any kind of economic activity. And, I guess when it comes to the money in his budget, well, that's more important than the lives that people risk their own lives to come out and save people who were infected while they were having that shortage. Unbelievable, an absolute lack of gratitude. That rounds up all 5 ways New York has failed us in its fight against the coronavirus. That's my take. What do you guys think? Love to know what you think. Go ahead and comment down below. If there are some of the things that maybe I've missed, maybe there are more than 5, maybe there's 10. If you've got some other things that you've seen, some examples of New York failing us, I'd love to hear about that. Go ahead and comment below. Also, I want to remind you that we're taking mailbag questions that we may read here on the show. So if you've got a take here, I'm going to read this question that we have all to you. Local governments across the country have taken different measures to contain the virus, but ensuring public safety without stifling the economy is a delicate balance. How has your local government handled the crisis, and do you approve? Is your local government New York City? I'd be curious to think what you think. But see, that's the difference. I mean, what's going on in New York might not be the same what's going on in Des Moines, might not be in Tampa, near where I live. Everything is different. So I'd love to hear how your local and state government have handled this crisis. Where did they fail? What did they get right? You can reply either in a comment below or send me an email to info@informedamerican.com. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you tomorrow afternoon at 1 o'clock.